Hello and welcome to Daily Records. I am Tommy Burton, and today we're going to be talking about Rick Astley. Whenever You Need Somebody, released on November 16th, 1987. This was the debut album from the English singer, and it was his biggest selling album. Now, I think I read somewhere, and it may have been Rick Astley's website, that this thing has sold millions of copies worldwide. Huge hit record, and featured a couple of major hits. And let's go ahead and get out of the way. Never Gonna Give You Up, which is one of the big songs that became a thing. And in the early days of the internet, there was this thing where they call it Rick rolling, where Rick Astley showed up. I always kind of thought he looked a little bit like Howdy Doody, kind of dancing around like a puppet. But the truth is, Rick Astley has a nice blue-eye soul voice, a good baritone, and this stuff pretty standard pop at the time. This is one of those albums. It sounds like 1987. If you turn on the radio, you probably heard something that sounded like this. Never Gonna Give You Up is a great, catchy song, a lot of fun, and so I could see why it was such a big hit. And so Rick Astley, a fine singer, and you could see why he had a little success. Good-looking young man, appealed to the teenagers. And again, it did quite well on the charts all around the world. So this was a massive hit. Rick Astley, still around and kind of had a little bit of a comeback. Never Gonna Give You Up, again, #1 single, several countries. And it never quite, the problem is, with such a strong debut and such a strong hit, it's always hard to come back from that. And so it's almost like a death knell to have that kind of success early on. Now, around this time, he was playing drums with a soul group, and was starting to find the sound, and came together and had this little song called When You Gonna. It was a collaboration with Lisa Carter. Didn't really do anything, didn't make a lot of noise, but then Never Gonna Give You Up, recorded on New Year's Day 1987, and it just had this incredibly rich voice, this dance pop sort of sound, and that was all it needed. And so he really took off from there. Now, Whenever You Need Somebody, the title track, was also a single, but it was big in Europe, so I'm not going to say it wasn't as big, but by this point, I think when you have such a huge hit, people get tired of you very quickly, which I think is the case. It's not a great album, but if you grew up in the 80s like I did, this stuff is pretty familiar, but kind of substandard, if you ask me. I'm a guitar guy, but he does have a nice voice, and so it's got that going for him. Or got that going for it. Comment down below. What do you think? I'm not gonna do it. See, you're waiting for it to happen. It's not gonna happen. Just this is it. I'm talking about the album. I'll see you tomorrow with another Daily Record.